World of Warships development block. EU, Wargaming, NAC, whatever you want to call it, not list. Despite, I love that I have to specify. At one point it was like, oh, well, they're both so dented, it's hard to tell which one it is. So you always have to specify which one it is so people are aware. Close test 14.1. New ships is our favorite time of the month again. Let's take a look at the newest ships to be added for testing to World of Warships. German Super Destroyer Z57. Why is the image quality so shit? You see this, right? It's like a really upscaled picture for some reason. I don't know how well it transfers to I don't know how well it transfers to the stream, but it looks like it's someone upscaled the shit out of a picture, or like looks like a really bad quality one. But Z57, the file is low res. Yeah, it's really low res. Looks pretty dog, yeah. So instead of buffing Z52, we get a German Super DD Z57. Interesting. Okay, looks it's pretty silly. Is it the same? It's the same hull as the Z52. It looks identical to the Z52 hull. Looks pretty copy paste hull wise. Let me see. Let's see. German Z52. Let's take off the camo. I mean, oh, they just took off the hats from the turrets. This is all identical. Yeah, this is all identical. Like it's from this angle, like this. And this has been, no, it's a single gun instead of a dual gun. The bridge is slightly compressed, but it's there for this hull. It's there for the Z52 hull. You can see it's the exact same curve. Yeah, I think it's there for the Z52 hull. No, the funnels are a bit different as well. The funnels are a bit different, but the hull is the Z52. Okay, but that gives as an idea of the size of the ship. It gives us an idea of the scale of the ship, like what size we're dealing with. It's the fish islands. Yeah, they always do this shit. A large destroyer with powerful artillery armament based on one of the last unreleased designs developed by the Kriegsmarine. The Type 1945 destroyer. In our game, she receives a designation typical for Kriegsmarine destroyers. Z stands for Zerstörer, destroyer in German, while 57 is her hull number, referring to the fact that the last destroyer ordered by Kriegsmarine had the number 56. Following Z52, Z57 is the ultimate conclusion of the line. Bigger, faster, and stronger. She receives an extra turret, okay, for the main battery of 4 twin 128mm cannons, as well as an extra torpedo tube per launcher, and being able to put up to 10 fish in the water. She retains all the traditional strengths of her line. Good HE pen allows her to apply damage to heavy targets, while high AP damage means broadsiding ships will feel the hurt. While German torpedoes may not have the highest damage, a good blend of reload time, range, speed, and detection makes her torpedoes a very capable secondary armament. For consumable kits, Z52 is very much the same as her predecessor, with access to smoke and engine boost. However, her hydroacoustic search has an improved ship detection of 7 kilometers, allowing Z57 to detect enemy destroyers without being spotted in return. Wait, didn't they do this to the... what was it? What was it, the EU server that did this to the Hanover and to the Super Hindenburg? What the hell is it called? It was the EU server that gave them 7K, close of it, yeah. So they gave 7K, so they're doing this. So they're doing the same thing to this. Now the thing with Hanover is it's massive, it's clumsy, it's clunky. So the large Hydra makes sense. Clausewitz is also a pretty slow and pretty large clumsy cruiser, so the 7km Hydra makes sense. However, putting this on a destroyer, you no longer have the large size, the clumsiness, the detection. This seems incredibly difficult to balance. I mean, obviously they don't care about balance when it comes to their super ships, but still, this seems This seems like a balancing nightmare from the get-go, because it's like we already know radar on destroyers is already dog shit for balance because it completely skews the balance of DD versus DD interactions. But putting 7K Hydra is basically just like a really low duration radar at this point. In battle, captains who have played through the tech tree will find Z57 a comfortable upgrade. Combination of smoke generator and improved hydroacoustic surge makes her a fearsome camp contester. Use her guns to bully out other camp contesting DDs and her concealment to avoid direct fights with dedicated gunboats such as Zorku. Make sure to keep an eye on enemy radar cruisers and your friendly support. Lack of a repair party means that taking a bad engagement can end your match quickly. Okay. Loyang is 5.5 Hydro. And the radar on destroyers is 7.5, most of them, with exceptions. But small line is 7.5, black is 7.5 radar, and so forth. YY I think is 7.5 radar as well. So this is 500 less, but obviously the duration is going to be obscene. Well, let's see what the stats on the ship is. 22,000 health. That's not bad, considering you're going to be running. You're obviously going to be running the health perk. Well, not obviously, a lot of people will not, but you probably will, which means you will have the same health as the Yamagiri. That's pretty damn good. 4x 228, base range 12.8. Base range 12.8. Damn, this looks like a pretty good farmer. 12.8 base range. That's actually really good for a destroyer. Lucian is 12.8 base. So getting that on this thing is very nice. Z52 only has 12.1. Daily reminder, by the way, that Khabarovsk range till this day is 11.2 kilometers. I just want to highlight that Khabar range is 11.2. But still, that's really nice. HE Shellam is 1.5. Kind of wonder what kind of HE DPM does this thing have? Someone calculated the HE DPM on this thing? Oh, here it is. 175k HE DPM. 175,000 HE DPM. So we're talking Zorku HE DPM. Zorku HE DPM is 172. This is 175. That's actually about rounded to 176. And 351k AP DPM. 351k AP DPM is the best AP DPM on a destroyer in the game. 351k AP DPM will put it above Haruguma, above Marceau in terms of AP damage. And with 12.8k range, well, you're gonna match Lucian's AP range, but you're gonna have 40k more AP DPM. That's really strong. That's really strong. Also, what needs to be mentioned is because it's German, they get the improved penetration, the quarter pen. Sorry, is it not quarter pen? They get the 1/6 pen, I think, on their destroyer. But somehow it translates to 1/5. Yeah, 1/5. I think that was it. But somehow it translates to their bullshit. No, it was quarter pen. It was quarter pen. I said correctly the first time. So somehow it translates to them being able to pen exactly 32 millimeters, which means that, well, obviously this gunpowder is going to be obscene to deal with. Like, ships that have this kind of pen generally don't deal nearly as much damage. Like, the only thing that comes to mind is the hull, which is demented, but every other destroyer suffers from shattering on battleships. Like, everyone who sits above this thing in HEDPM shatters on everything, really. This thing won't have that issue at all. This thing will pen noses, sterns, full ships in some cases. So there's no need for AFHE. You can just build raw damage on this thing, and it's going to be an excellent gunboat. Like a really great gunboat. 7% fire chance, real time 4.1. Def charges, standard def charges. Bombs in 18 bombs though. That's pretty damn good. If only they fixed the depth at which the bombs explode, so you could get direct hits with ship-based ASW. Feeder tubes 2x5. 15.6k alpha. 15.6k alpha. Wait, how does that work? These are 14.4. So we went from 14.4 to 15.6, so there's also a damage increase there. Range 12, so from 10.5 to 12. Speed stays the same, concealment stays the same. But 12 km range is very nice because it lets you be much more effective. Also, it will synergize really well with your gun range. And they hit very hard. 90-second reload isn't bad either, but just very usable torpedoes. Very usable torpedoes. AA, garbage. 4 flak, it's a joke. 4 flak is a joke, it's whatever. I mean, you're not supposed to shoot down planes nowadays anyway, so whatever. 39 knot speed. 39, bro, speeds are getting so crazy. 39 knots of speed. Z52 is 37.5. So this one is significantly faster at 39. And of course, it did have access to speed boost, didn't it? Yeah, 8%. So you're gonna do 39 with speed flag, and then you're gonna run speed boost. 44 knot speed boost, or 44 knot destroyer, with great DPM. Holy, that's pretty brutal. Jesus, everyone has, isn't that like exactly the same speed as Shimakaze? Yeah, it matches Shimakaze's speed. Remember when Shimakaze's gimmick was he was really fast and stealthy? Jesus, the power creep on that poor bastard. Holy shit. So it's the same speed as Shima. Turning radius 740, very nice. Radius 4.8, also very nice. Whoa, what? Oh no. Surface detect 7.7. Ay. Oh, no. So you don't need to build concealment expert on this thing if you don't want to. You can literally just slot the concealment module, and you got 6.9 conceal. With your Hydra active, you will always see anyone you're engaging, because you got perma radar, basically. If you're a filthy piece of shit, and you actually build conceal, you get 6.2. Holy shit, you get 6.2 on it. Ooh, that is fucking filthy. So, 6.2 conceal. So if you want, you push a cap, wait until you're spotted, pop hydro smoke, and that guy is basically in 800 meters deep in your hydro, and you can just smoke up. Holy fuck. Holy fuck, that's so fucking brutal. Like, how are you supposed to play against this thing if you're not playing a radar destroyer? I don't think it's playable. I don't think you can play against this thing unless you're playing a radar destroyer. Holy shit. That is so fucking absurd. It's so dumb. Holy shit, that's so dumb. That's never gonna get balanced. The only thing that will somewhat mitigate this is, as always, the player base and the fact that players who play super ships are completely demented. But playing against this thing when the player has hands, what a fucking nightmare. What an absolute nightmare. Holy shit. How do you play against this thing? Like, this thing goes into a cap, you try to push in, he doesn't even need to fight you. Like, he can just sit there, keep you perma-hydrated, and then if you try to run at him, he's got a 800 meter buffer between when you're spotted by the hydro and before you spot him. So he can just kite away, because he's fast as fuck as well. He does 44 knots. He does 44 knots, so you can't even run him down. He can just kite and keep you hydrated the entire time. It's so goddamn absurd. This is so goddamn absurd. How do you play against this thing? How do you play against this thing without radar? Jesus. This is peak wargaming balancing. Oh, gosh. It's not gonna have heal. Be careful, bro. You gave it 44 knots. Insane fucking DPM and AP DPM. Fucking 26k health with the HP perk. Okay, very cool. Standard DCP, German smoke, which is bad, but I mean, you don't fucking have to spend the smokes the same way as I said 52 to engage, because you have so much DPM and insane fucking hydro. Standard engine boost and the ridiculous Hydra. The fucking ridiculous torpedo detection 4K as well. Dude, 4K torpedo detection is actually so fucking oppressive as well. You have to understand, 4K torpedo detection means you're spotting torpedoes in an 8 km radius. Every torp launched within 8 kilometers of you is gonna be fucking spotted. 4 km on both sides. So you can just nullify all torpedo DDs on an entire flank when you play that flank. So like it's more than just like so you the way you shut down destroyers, their torpedoes become irrelevant and they can never use their concealment against you. This thing just fucks them. It's just this thing just fucks them. Holy shit. This is gonna be so fucking brutal. Duration 120 seconds, so of course is that the same as yeah, it's the same as this one, 120. So wait, how much is it you get on this? 120. You can get this. 158. Could you build something more here? Yeah, you can get another 10% here. And faster cooldown. So we're talking like 3-minute radars. We're talking 3-minute radars on this thing. 3 minutes 7 km radar. 3 minutes 7 km radar. Nice. Just play against that, bro. Trust. And then when I get like it's not gonna go on cooldown for a long either, because you got this to shorten the cooldown. And then you have this to shorten the cooldown as well. So you get like 100 seconds between the 3-minute radar before the 3-minute radar is active again. Holy shit. I mean, you can literally be a giga griefer if you want. And you can run but you don't need, I mean, but you can run it, you can run anything you want in this slot. Because it's the first, this is a DD where concealment is actually completely optional. You could giga grief with this, but honestly, just steering gears and gunboating in this thing is going to be so fucking obscene. You run this and this, and holy shit, or fuck me. I mean, you probably still run concealment, because then you just giga grief destroyers so hard. You just perma-grief them. Because, like, if you're running just no conceal, they can actually run at you and catch you. Well, they can get vision and then you can smoke up. So you can force the guy to smoke. But if you run concealment, they can't even force you to smoke if you don't want to, because the buffer zone is so large. What a fucking horrendous design. Holy shit. Well done, Wargaming. That is actually a horrendous design to play against. Holy fuck. That is actually a completely horrendous design to play against. That is impressive. Like, it really, you can't run it down. You won't necessarily outgun it. You can't... It's gonna be so painful to deal with. Holy fuck. Wow. Impressive. Impressive wargaming. Fuck it. I'm impressed. I'm actually impressed. Japanese cruiser Suzuya. Okay, once again, we get the 144p pictures with the shittiest quality ever. This looks like a Mogami. It is a Mogami. Interesting. A Mogami. Suzuya was the third ship in the Mogami class series. Unique ships originally built as light cruiser, but later converted to heavy ones. Yeah, except running them in the light line cruiser setup was much better. Until didn't they nerf it? They nerfed the 155s at one point, because everyone played it. In-game, Suzuya is presented in her original configuration of 1555mm guns. So wait, they nerfed Mogami's 155s, and then they release Mogami 155 as a premium. That's impressive. That's impressive, man. Suzuya participated in many major campaigns of World War II, including the Indian Ocean Raid and the Battle of Midway, and was sunk in the Battle of Samara on October 25th, 1944. Classic, yeah, it's a classic for sure. Good news for those who enjoy Mogami's stock gun configuration. Suzuya brings the heat, the 15 main gun battery to tier 9. As part of her upgrade, her main battery featured faster reload, improved range, making her a fearsome gunfighter. Torpedo armament, okay. Experienced Mogami recognized typical weaknesses. A vulnerable hull, long turret traverse times, and mediocre firing angles means Suzuya will require an experienced hand at the helm to keep her alive. Fast cooldown repair. Fast cooldown? Wait, so it's just not a heal, it's a fast cooldown heal. A choice between defensive AA and Hydra. Wow, tough choice. Fighter. Dogshit. Reload booster. Reload booster. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Now the thing that made the Mogami's 155mm guns particularly interesting was that, well, if you like take you take 152 millimeter guns, and you divide it. Whoops, you divide it by, what was it, 6? You get 25, and then if you apply, was it IFHE, you reach what? Dog shit? How was it they worked? No, they gave it something flat. What did they give? They gave it flat, was it 30? That's what they did to IJN. They gave it flat 30. They changed it at some point. Did they give them flat 30mm pen? And because of that, when you built IFHE, you could reach... I don't remember how they did it, but you could reach 38mm pen on these guns. They did some fuckery on them. Typed 152. Oh yeah, I was gonna compare it to... Oh yeah, I was gonna compare it to American 152s, but 155s had the gimmick of being able to pen 32, but I think you would pen 38 with this, couldn't this? It was 31mm pen. Yeah, okay, that's how it worked. It was... I typed it divided by 6, I was supposed to divide it by 5, I think. It wasn't 6th pen, it was 5th pen. That's how it works. It's funny how at one point they tried to like normalize all the values, and then they just added a bunch of arbitrary values again. So now it's like, okay, how did it work again? You're welcome, Slime. Let's see. Main better real burst. In game, Suzuya thrives at long-range gunfights, where maneuverability can compensate for a weak hull, where high damage per minute and fire chance ensures that enemies will be left burning under the weight of their HE shells as long as you can avoid return fire. Use a main better reload booster to set permanent fires on enemies that have already used their damage control or punish enemy destroyers. Okay, yeah. Hit points 39k health. Okay, so same. Plating 25. That's dog shit. So it's very squishy then. 16.5 base range. That is very nice, considering... Wait, isn't Zhao base range 16.2? Zhao base range is 16.2. And this thing at tier 9 with lighter guns is 16.5. Zhao truly is the pinnacle of the IJN line, I have to say. Okay, here we go. Yeah, pen's 31. Yeah, it's rounded 31. That's how it works. Yeah, pen's 31. And of course, the gimmick here is if you run IFHE, you don't pen just 32, you pen 38. And penning 38 is relevant in World of Warships because there are American ships. American ships in particular happen to have a very unified armor scheme, which means that their deck armor is all 38. Deck armor, upper plate, all 38. And this applies to basically all of the American ships with, I think, very few exceptions. There's very few exceptions to the rule. Most of them run around with 38mm deck and upper belt. So if you happen to build IFHE on this ship, you can suddenly pen every part of American ships, which is why people liked running IFHE Mogami. Vermont is 51, yeah. But Vermont gets cooked anyway because Vermont has a gigantic superstructure, big nose and stern that can all be farmed, and it's slow. So if you can start, you generally do a lot of damage to when you HE spam a Vermont as well for that reason. Reload 9.2 seconds. What DPM is this thing? What DPM is this thing? Seems pretty strong. $254k HE DPM. 254k HE DPM. Where does this place us? Brisbane. Better than Yoda. Oh boy, poor Yoda, man. Jesus, Yoda is such a sad fucking tragic joke. Sheesh. But 254 HE DPM is very fucking nice. 254 HE DPM is very fucking nice. Did Yoda have, I think Yoda had... Yeah, Yoda has some 30mm pen. So it can't reach the same either because the caliber is smaller. So this thing is just going to be, I think, superior in every way to Yoda when it comes to farming. It's 254. So we're talking Brisbane HE DPM with IFHE. You're penning everything, and you get a funny reload booster as well. That's pretty goddamn nice, especially when you consider it's a tier 9. Let's see, what kind of reload booster is it? 50% reload booster. 15-second duration. That's really strong. That's really strong. So half the reload, do we just double our DPM? It might be better than that. But I think we're effectively going to reach like Colbert levels of DPM. We're effectively going to jump up to like 510k HE DPM during the reload booster. But, well, depending on IFHE or not, we're going to be penning a lot. Regardless of if you run IFHE or not. So, I'm pretty sure you don't want to cuck your fire chance. It depends. It depends. The drop isn't that large when you factor in flags. Like the way IFHE works is it cuts your initial value in half. So it takes 10 and it cuts it into 5. But then if you add flags, you add percentages on top. And if you spec the fire skill, you also add flat percentages on top. IFHE only cuts the base value. So you can actually end up with something like, is it 7, 7.5, 8% fire chance? So the drop isn't as large as one might think. But then you pen things instead. Yeah, it's not a 50% reduction, it's more like a 30% reduction. And fire chance is RNG anyway, and it's less effective against some things. For example, if you're farming a battleship that runs fire prevention, IFHE is going to give you a lot more value, especially if you can pen any parts of your ship with it. So, against potatoes who don't build fire prevention, not having IFHE is great. Against ships that do it, IFHE is going to give you so much more damage. IFHE cuts by half the base value only. Yes, that's the way it works. That's the way it works. If you add IFHE to a ship, let's see. Do we have some commander? We get Smolensk, okay. Smolensk has what? 9% fire chance. I think is that with flags? Okay, let's demount all. Okay, so this thing has 8% fire chance. I can assign some completely random commander because it's a premium. So if I now add shit, that's 4-point commander, whatever, we just add something. We don't really, oh, we don't do that. So if I add this, the fire chance gets cut to 4%. But now if I re-equip the flags, now we're suddenly back up to 5%. And now if I equip this, I'm going to be back up to 6%. So I didn't actually go from 8% fire chance to 4%. I went from 8% fire chance to 6%, but in return I gained 25% penetration. And, well, obviously on Smolensk it's not valuable because you don't pen anything important, but on something like Mogami, where you go from not penning battleships at all at 31 to being able to pen all 32 and completely farm American battleships at 38, it's really, really valuable. Okay, let's see. Okay, so really good HEDPM. 36-second degree turn time. That is pretty brutal. It's funny that they expect more turret control from cruisers than they expect from battleships. Like more awareness of where your guns are pointed. Airstrike, plane-based, 7 km. Oof, pretty dog, but whatever. Torpedo tubes, 4x3. And they are going to be in the back and probably dog shit firing angles. Oh, hit like a truck though. 10 km, fast. Pretty stealthy as well. Honestly, these are basically Shima torps at 10 km. These are very, very hard hitting. But using them is going to be a painful experience. Secondary, a joke as always. AA, complete fucking joke. You're literally meant to be farmed by carriers. Speed, 35 knots. Oof, that is slow. Well, it's, no, I think it's just pretty slow. Where does that actually put us? 35 knots. We're slower than Otago. Slower than Napoli. We're Jinan speeds, basically. Jinan, Austin. Well, it's Ibuki speeds. I guess it's not that bad. It could be worse. It could be Zhao that does 34.5. Haha, funny. Turning circles in a 60. Rudder 7.1 is pretty nice, though. That's actually a really fast rudder. Better than Zhao rudder. Better than Ibuki rudder. It's a really good rudder for this thing. Surface detect 12.6. Where does 12.6 place us? 12.6 places us 10.2. That's pretty nice. And very good smoke firing penalty. Yeah, now this thing with this rudder and shit, I think you just build this thing heavy HE for absolute giga fucking punching guns. You build heavy HE, you build IFHE, and you just completely fuck people with raw HE damage. Shit, with the reload booster, you're gonna be a Colbert. With the reload booster, you're basically gonna be a Colbert that pins 38mm for 15 seconds. 15 seconds is a long time. You're gonna fuck some things up with this thing, that's for sure. That's a lot of damage. That's a lot of damage. Standard DCP, Focum Hydro. Thank you, Custer Talagi. Yeah, 35 knots is actually pretty fast for it. I've gotten so... Honestly, it's all the BBs. The problem is the BBs. Cruisers seem slow now because all BBs are so fucking fast. That's really what it comes down to. Battleships have access to Brisk is just so disgusting. Brisk is such a disgusting skill on fast BBs. Like, fucking Libertad doing 37, fucking Rhode Island doing 40, and like all these new battleships are so fast that cruisers seem slow. They're not slow at 35. It just seems slow because every battleship is so goddamn fast these days. It's fucking insane. Like, it's weird how BBs are matching these destroyers in speed. And subs are faster than destroyers. And so my cruisers are the slowest, despite cruisers literally being the fastest. What the fuck happened, man? It's fucking insane. Anyway, regardless, you can run Hydro defensive. Honestly, with this AA values, it's not even a discussion. You just run with this. I don't understand how you get free flak out of this thing. It's a fucking joke. So obviously you run Hydro. You get a heal, standard heal. Oh wait, but 40 second. Wow, that's nice. 40-second cooldown is very nice. Superintendent on. You have to run Superintendent on this thing for extra Hydro, extra main battery reload booster, extra heal, especially with 40-second cooldown. You can cycle these very quickly. That's very nice. What are we talking here? We're talking 195 times 28, and then you run the flag. That's not bad. Wait, how the fuck did I calculate? Wait, what the fuck? How did I calculate this? What did I do? Okay. What the fuck happened? 6.5. How the fuck then? Yeah, it's 6.5. Plus HP perk potentially modifying it a bit more. 6.5. And you get 5 of them. That's pretty good. You're going to be healing like 35k potential, like, health. That's very nice. I added the flag. The 1.2 was the flag. The 1.2 modifier is literally the 20% from the healing flag. So this is like going to be a really, really powerful Mogami at tier 9. This thing actually seems very good. This thing seems really interesting as well. It's still going to blow up because it's going to be a Mogami hull. And potatoes are going to get absolutely butt blasted in this thing because 25mm armor with Mogami hull means Euromatch from everywhere, sits from everywhere, and just blown the fuck up. But if you play this thing well, the damage potential is through the goddamn roof. So, of course, the shitters are going to smoke this thing up because that's what shit players do. They figure out they can't play the ship, so they bring someone a gearing to smoke them up so they can pretend like they know what they're doing. But excluding the losers... actual good players are going to be really cool to watch in this thing, I think. German cruiser Blücher. Wasn't Blücher the ship that got booty blasted by a World War I fort outside of Oslo? I think that's the one. That's the thing that got booty blasted by a World War I fortress and died to a World War I torpedo. Oscarborg's fortress, yeah, that's the one. That's pretty fucking funny. Really tried to sneak up on them, and they had like this. They had this commander from World War I who saw it, and just his crew asked, "Should we fire warning shots?" And he was like, "No, that's an enemy ship. fire live rounds. I'll take full responsibility. An absolute Chad. Dude fought in World War One. He had like zero qualms, and they instantly fucking wrecked the Blücher superstructure. And then they launched World War One hidden torpedo tubes that were underwater. They launched them from the side and crippled the ship and sank it. Apparently Hitler was fucking furious because this thing was brand new pride of the Kriegsmarine type of ship, and it got wrecked by a fort that they knew about, but they completely discarded it because it was so old, so they didn't think it was a threat. Yeah, it was the first deployment of the ship, and it got wrecked by World War One fort. It was pretty funny. The Norwegians were on alert. Sure they were, but like most of them were fresh-faced new like recruits, new guys. It was the commander who took full responsibility for the whole thing, and absolute Chad, man. Enten blir jag stilt för krigsrätt eller så blir jag krigshelt. Hur? Either I get put in front of martial court, or what is it called? Army court. What is it called? Martial. I think it's called martial court. I'm not sure what it's called in English. Krigsrätt. Court-martial. Yeah, either I get court-martialed or I become a war hero. Fire. Yeah, that's the English word for it. I don't know. Court-martial? Whatever. Sometimes English is confusing. Here it is. Blücher was among the main participants in the German invasion of Norway and Denmark in 1940. As the flank ship of the squadron intended to capture Oslo, the cruiser was sunk in the battle with Norwegian coastal fortifications. Okay, they don't really talk much else about it, but it's a pretty significant event. Blücher was typical heavy cruiser armament of 4 twin 203mm guns. To give her an extra punch at Tier 9, her main battery features destroyer-level dispersion, Elbing dispersion. Actually, Elbing has improved DD dispersion, so not quite, it's just DD dispersion. And highly improved AP shells. Blücher's AP boasts improved ricochet angles, shorter fuse time, higher pen, and flatter ballistics. Holy shit, it's a Soviet-German ship. Interesting. In terms of consumables, Blücher has access to a typical loadout of standard repair party, a choice between defensive AA and improved hydroacoustic search with 6 km range, and a choice of fighters and spotting aircraft. Blücher's gameplay is that of a broadside hunter. Her improved AP will make short work of enemies who make even minor mistakes with their angling. When enemies angle properly, her HE shells act as a decent fallback due to her typical German improved pen, but damage output will be somewhat lacking. Against battleships, Blücher will perform best at medium to long range, where she can put her improved ballistics to work and utilize her accuracy to drop shells directly into the enemy superstructure. Now, what's interesting here is it going to have Eugen Turtleback or Hipper Turtleback? The Wargaming seems to sometimes pick and choose that thing. They don't always like know which one they want to go for, but there's a bit of you'd expect it to be Hipper. Like the difference here is somewhat significant, mainly because if you look at you can see this armor, 30mm. If you look at Eugen, 40mm, 30 here. So this is of course a significant difference because Hipper, because of 30, can get Overmatch Citadel through the Turtleback, whereas Eugen, thanks to the improved armor, cannot be Overmatched Citadel. Mines gets the 40. Despite Mines being, I think, a Hipper class as well. But for some reason, this one got the 40. So it doesn't get Overmatch Citadel by those guns. So it's going to be interesting to see, is it going to go the way of so far the premiums, Eugen and Mines, or is it going to keep Hipper's 30? I don't know. Mines also has weaker external armor. Yeah, but that's because it's literally like a lighter cruiser. That's just extended light cruiser layout. The important thing is the Citadel. So it's somewhat interesting to see which one are they gonna get. I think Tallinn also had Tallinn gets the 40mm. Despite I think Tallinn was even described. Lutzov. What was Lutzov? Lutzov was a Hipper class, I'm pretty sure. German cruiser Lutzov. Yeah, it was the 5th and final member of the Admiral Hipper class. The Lutzov. It was an unfinished Admiral Hipper class. But for somehow this Hipper also gets the improved armor. So we're in a somewhat funny situation in World of Warships where there's multiple Hipper copies that all have better armor than the actual German Tech 3 cruiser. The German Tech 3 cruiser has the worst armor, whereas all the premiums and the Soviet version have the 40mm armor. So I'm gonna be somewhat interested in seeing which one they will give to Blücher. We'll see. We'll see. I would assume they give it the 40 because it's the year 2025 and this is a new premium ship, so you can't have it blow up that easily. But we'll see. We'll see. In terms of consumables, Blücher has access to typical loadout of standard repair party, choice between defensive AA fire, improved hydro, and it's like 6 hydro, and a sport drop plane. Okay, fair enough. Okay, when enemies angled, HE shall. Yeah, okay. 45.3k health. Let's actually compare this thing a bit. Where does that put us? The health. So 300. Well, Hipper has 43.8. Eugen has 45. This is 45.3. It is tier 9, to be fair. It is tier 9. 27mm is nice. It means you bounce 380mm guns. Not too many of those left in the game these days, but hey, it's nice to have something. Fire range 18.5. Jesus, that's nice firing range. Bro, the creep in fucking firing range is insane as well. When you consider Des Moines, literally like the pinnacle of cruiser construction, has 15.8 km gun range in World of Warships, and Zao has 16.2, and it was supposed to be a long range cruiser. Like now we get these T9s that just leave them in the dust. It's pretty fascinating. 51mm HE pen, of course, but 10-second reload, 250mm guns. Yikes, that's not a lot of DPM, is it? Is it? Wait, is it really as bad as I think it is? What's the DPM on this thing? 120. Yeah, 120 HE DPM. Yikes. 120k HE DPM. So where does that put us? That puts us solidly in... Well, we're a bit more than Riga. Whoa, did you guys know Drake has 115k HE DPM? Did you actually know Drake has 115k HE DPM? Holy shit, poor shit. Regardless, Bagration has 122k, Kronstadt has 122, Otago has 124, so it's a bit worse than Otago HE DPM, so not exactly impressive. You do Pen on the other hand, and the flat ballistics and dispersion is gonna make it a lot more easier to use. Remember, it has DD dispersion, so you will be able to target specific parts of ships to get specific fires, like you can shoot the nose to get a nose fire, shoot the stern to get a stern fire, and so forth, so that is nice. So it's going to be actually a lot more effective DPM in two different ways, namely 51mm pen and DD dispersion. So the effective DPM on this thing is going to be a lot higher than the number indicates. Also, nosing cruisers, you're going to have a much easier time farming them. For example, Petros with their 50mm armor and so forth. You're going to be able to land all HLs and you're going to be able to pen them. So much more effective than the number implies. You probably do the same as the Elbing, never use the HE if you don't have to, probably. Petro is 40. Oh yeah, it is 40 now. I think that was one of the nerfs. Didn't use to have 50. Whatever, you still pen it everywhere, so it doesn't matter. 180, 18-second, whoa, great turret verse. Standard ship, plane-based ASW. Computer tubes 4x3, 8 chem torps. Interesting. German torps on cruisers are normally 6 kilometers, so this one gets 2 km increased range, makes it much easier to use and much more viable, of course. Also makes it much better when kited. Yeah, the dispersion range is insane. 60 knots, reload 80, so very spammable. Great reverse, very stealthy. Like, just efficient torps. Also 6 per side. That's a lot of alpha per side. You can do a lot of YOLO things with this thing, I think. We'll see if it gets... we'll see what kind of outer layer armor it's gonna get. Is it gonna get something like a Tallinn's nice little icebreaker here, perhaps? Will it? I don't know. Oops. Is it gonna get Tallinn's nice little icebreaker or not? Eugen has a partial icebreaker, which is weird. I don't know why Tallinn got a full, but this one got a partial one. Like, there's these small changes between this that don't make a whole lot of sense. Hipper has a full one as well. So I would assume, since it's a Hipper class, it will get the icebreaker. Which obviously makes pushing in for YOLOs a lot easier. But we'll see. We'll see what he ends up getting. AA. 6 flak, that's pretty okay. 5.2 km range is a goddamn joke though, so good luck. The continuous damage numbers are a complete joke. Once again, all of these things are going to be carrier fodder. 32.8 knots. It's pretty goddamn slow. It is pretty goddamn slow at 32.8. It's off the slower sort for sure. Tallinn does 33.1. So not exactly optimal. It's going to be very slow. 32.8 is going to be pretty brutal, especially with no speed boost or anything to really help it out. In comparison, Hipper does 32 though. So there is that. Eugen does 32 as well. So it's slightly faster. 32.8 is slow. Please tell that to historical ship designers. Yeah. Rudder shift 9.2. It's Hipper's rudder. It's not bad. It's not great either. Once again, the power creep there has been obscene, but it's not a bad value. Like, compared to other cruisers, it's pretty okay. It's pretty good. It's just the power creep in this in rudder and speed has been so insane, especially for battleships. 13.8 conceal. 11.1, 11.2, 11.2. DCP. Looks like standard heal. 80-second cooldown. 6 km Hydra, that's going to be nice. You're not going to run defensive with that flag. Fighter and the spotter. Obviously, you run spotter because the fighter in World of Warships has intentionally been nerfed to be a complete joke, so it doesn't really do anything. So you just run spotter. With the ballistics and the dispersion, you can easily utilize the extra range as well and just farm from giga range. Interesting. Still, with all the mods to the AP, the big numbers, the big value is going to be what the AP values or what the AP pen is like, but improved ricochet, shorter fuse, higher pen, and flat ballistics all makes it interesting for sure, especially with the range that you can probably sit at and just farm with the AP. Probably pretty effective. 18.5 with spotter, you will outrange some BBs in your matchmaking. Isn't Colombo base range 18.9? Or do I misremember? No, it's 18.9. So with spotter playing, you outrange Colombo unless he pops spotter. So yeah, 18.5. Yeah, Roma is 18.1. Massa is 18.3. Lenin is 18.4. Vladivostok, Zit, and Veneto are 18, 18.1. So you're actually going to outrange a fair few BBs, and if you pop spotter plane, you're going to outrange a lot of them. A lot of them. So that's pretty interesting. GK has 20.6 base, so if you pop spotter plane, you can outrange GK. That's pretty funny, considering GK is like the T10 battleship, but whatever. What the fuck is that? Italian destroyer Alberico da Barbiano. The Barbarian. Well, looks like a goddamn barbarian. Albert the Barbarian? Holy shit. What the fuck are those guns? Is it single or duals? It looks like singles. What the fuck is this? Those have to be incredibly small caliber. Singles. What the fuck? One of the Alberto di Giussano class cruisers converted into a fast anti-aircraft ship. Oh no, I feel worried about this. When Wargaming uses anti-aircraft ship because they hate anti-air. Like, being an AA ship in World of Warships is brutal because the idea that you're actually able to shoot down planes goes against their design philosophy. So you're basically doomed to fail. In accordance with an unreleased project developed in 1938. The main feature of the proposed modernization was replacing the 152mm main battery guns with 16 90mm heavy anti-aircraft guns. The project was never carried out, and Alberico, the Barbiano, was sunk in December 1941 during the Battle of Cape Bon in her original configuration as a light cruiser. Holy shit. Classified as a destroyer in World Warships, Alberico is the largest one yet. Largest? Wait, it's a destroyer. Shit, it's gonna be a gigantic destroyer. Wait, that's actually terrible. Wait. Ooh, how is that? We need... Wait, 1 second. Destroyer. Destroyer. If you're classed as a destroyer, that means you have access to destroyer skills. You can get the extra flak, and you can get the damage from flak. But that's where your AA... Oh, you do get continuous here as well. So that's your AA skills. Cruisers, on the other hand, can build the faster sector and number of shell explosions. They can build continuous AA and flak damage. Was there anything else they could build in terms of AA? I don't think so. Cruisers do have the stronger skills. So, but you're a destroyer. Interesting. With access to only sap shells, she features extremely high damage per minute with a reasonable shell pen of 26. Okay, so shit like Kremlin is basically gonna completely ignore you. You have no torps, and you can't punch through anything on a Kremlin. Superstructure is irrelevant on a Kremlin. So, in general, you're going to be pretty irrelevant against BBs once their superstructure is saturated, because you can't even punch through the nose or stern. Still, good against DDs, some cruisers. Access to an alternative fire mode gives Alberico even more flexibility against heavier targets, with improved shell penetration of 34, but at the cost of a longer reload. Yikes. Was that really needed? In terms of survivability, a high hit point pool and fast speed allows Alberico to take a few punches, but her huge size, poor maneuverability, and terrible concealment for a destroyer means enemies with good aim will be able to punish her. Rounding out her arsenal, Alberico has access to the traditional Italian exhaust smoke gem and a unique engine boost consumable with a rather short action time but a bigger bonus to speed, similar to the French. Wonder if it gets the new Italian speed boost, the one that they buffed, or if it gets the pre-buffed one, the dogshit one. In battle, Alberico is a dangerous gunboat, able to get into position quickly and apply extreme damage per minute from medium range. Careless cruisers and battleships who don't pay enough respect will soon find their hit points stripped away, while exhaust smoke generator and engine boost gives the tools to disengage from unfavorable combat when caught out. Surprise torpedo strikes and contesting them directly will be difficult due to a bad concealment. Remember to communicate with your teammates. Playing in tandem with friendly destroyer can mitigate this weakness. I'm sorry, are we playing the same game? Communicate, by the way. Bro, I don't know how to communicate with this player base. Like, I don't know, do I take out the crayon? Do like, pitch! And then hope that my teammates run in the right direction? Communicate, by the way. Italian destroyer Alberico, 32.1k health. Okay, that's a lot of health for a destroyer. It's actually a lot of health for a destroyer. Let's see, is that going to be the highest we've seen? It is. Even more health than Elbing has. So more tankier than Elbing. Still only 90mm of pen. So can be farmed very easily by everything. Main battery is 16x1, firing range 11 for 2000. What's the SAP DPM on this thing? Now, we need to remember, it's not going to be able to use all its guns. 16 guns, more like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I don't think it's going to be anywhere near able to use all the 16. It's 12 per side. So is that DPM counting the 12 guns per side? Is it 379 for 12? Okay, so 379k SAP DPM. Interesting. That is even more than Sherman, significantly more than Sherman. It's 60k more SAP DPM than Sherman. Interesting. The firing angles are going to be questionable for sure, but still, that's a lot of damage. That's a shit ton of damage. You can absolutely melt things with that. That's a lot of damage. But 11.4 km range is complete dog water. Like, absolute, especially if you're a big clunky destroyer, you're going to want more than that. 11.4 is trash. You're going to have to build the 20% range. Isn't cover range? Isn't it cover range? $11.4. However, Sansonetti does have this. Is he gonna be mandatory on another ship again? He might be mandatory on another ship again. He might need 8% range. Weren't you saying that like 12 was fine for Z57? What? Z57 has 12.8 kilometers range. This one has 11.4. That's a big fucking difference. Also, this one is described as a huge clumsy destroyer, where Z57 is literally a Z52 hull. Also, pretty big difference. Also, Z57 has insane conceal. Pretty big differences there, bro. We need 4 Luigi copies to play Italy, basically. Okay. 12.9, nice traverse. Burst fire. So this is the pen version. And what was the pen on this? 306k SAP DPM, and you pay in 34. That's still pretty good DPM, 306. That's going to be a bit less than for Sherman. The big issue here is definitely range, though. 11.4 is fucked. 11.4 is pretty fucking fucked. Consider Sherman as 12.6. 11.4? 11.4 at tier 10. Where does that even put you? 11.4 puts you at Shimakaze gun range. Yeah, you have Shima gun range. To be fair, it's smaller than Marceau gun range as well. You just have to get range with AFT on this thing. It's mandatory. Mixed mandatory. Okay, diff charges, standard ship-based, oof. Okay, here we go. It's an AA destroyer. Let's see it. AA short range, 81 DPS, 2 km range. Long range, 207, 4.6 km range. Explosions in salvo, 8. So we have 16 90mm anti-air guns, and we can put up 8 flak that does an abysmal 1330 damage, and our zone is 3.15 to 4.6. This is what I mean. Being commissioned in World of Warships as an anti-air ship is a fucking death blow, because they do not want you to actually shoot down planes. They don't want you to actually shoot down planes. This is a fucking joke. This is a fucking travesty. 4.6 km range, and you can only pump out flak within a 1.1 km buffer, and then the flak just turns off because they're too close. So what literally happens is when the planes come in, first of all, the way AA works is the guns are not loaded until the plane enters the area, and then when they enter the area, they start loading the guns. So you're gonna put out maybe 2 walls of flak, and then it's gonna be inside the flak zone, and then you're gonna have to rely on this fucking dog shit here to actually shoot down the planes, which is never gonna fucking happen because this is a travesty. So it's dog shit. They is dog shit. It's a fucking joke. I mean, but I knew this from the start. The problem is Wargaming wants to add historical or fantasy whatever anti-air ships in the game, because the player base would love to have real anti-air ships. Like, remember when How Long to Shoot Down Planes? People fucking love that shit. But the problem is Wargaming don't want planes to be shot down. Because if planes get shot down, potato carriers who can't dodge flak go, and wargaming hates that. So they're just stuck between this warring ideology of they want to add these ships, but the ships can't fulfill their purpose because they have to cuddle the carriers. So that's what being designated as an AA ship as World of Warships is just a tragedy. Like this is then we had Shinano with AP skip bumps. Yeah, exactly. So no, this isn't gonna do shit. This is a fucking joke as always. Maximum speed 39.6. It's very fast. Turning circle is huge, but rudder is, well, pretty okay. 9.8 conceal. 9.8 conceal. So we're gonna be sitting at 8 km 7.9 conceal. Pretty brutal. Pretty brutal. Gonna be hard to actually, but I mean you can support other deities, and of course in a division it's gonna be very good. The AA is a joke though, like Giga joke. Does it even get defensive AA? No, they don't even give it defensive AA. Bro, it's an anti-air fucking heavy anti-aircraft fucking cruiser that is designated as a destroyer. And they don't even fucking give it defensive AA. Because you know what defensive AA does? It buffs flak damage. That's the main role of defensive AA. Like that's literally the one value defensive AA has in World of Warships, is that it buffs, if it fucking buffs your flak damage. That's what it does. It gives you 300% to shell explosion damage. That's the main value of this thing. So potatoes that eat flak, if you pop this, they eat a fair bit of damage because you're buffing the value. So they just fucking made an anti-air cruiser whatever thing, and they didn't even give it defensive AA. Ay. It's a joke. It's a fucking joke. It's a fucking joke. Yeah, no, this is like... Good luck shooting down planes on this thing. This thing is... Yeah, and I mean, planes are immune in the attack phase as well, which is the funniest thing, because the AA range on this is only 4.6, so I'm pretty sure an attack craft can just dive into the attack phase at 4.6 km and be immune to the flak until it gets inside and still pull off the strike on this thing before it runs out of attack time. So you can just negate the flak entirely because the range is so short. So yeah, no, this like the developers don't want you to shoot down planes, so it is what it is. It is what it is. What a pile of shit, basically. I mean, it looks interesting besides that. It looks interesting and meme-worthy besides that, but don't go into this ship hoping to shoot down planes, because Wargaming does not want you to. Standard DCP, exhaust smoke. 45 seconds, obviously you run the modifiers, obviously you want Sansonetti for the increased duration on this, as always. Reload time 90 seconds. 1.5 minutes cooldown between. You can cut this down to something like 80 though, so 1 minute 20 cooldown between. The speed boost is actually pretty nice. It gets an 80-second speed boost. That's pretty nice. This thing is going to be pretty fast then, because that's a lot of uptime. Because the modifiers to this is percentage based. This thing is percentage based 30%. So that's what, 24 seconds added. So it's 104 second engine boost. Right, we have another one here. 104 second engine boost. Only 4 smokes, yeah, but you'll probably run superintendent on this thing for a fifth smoke. Also, you get a lot of charges on this thing, so you're going to be cycling these speed boosts a lot. But still, we're talking 39.6 times 48 knots. Very fast. Very fast. You're going to be hella fast in this thing. So you're zipping around at 48 knots. You're going to be huge. They specifically said you're going to be a big goddamn destroyer. But you're going to be running around farming a lot of damage. And at 48 knots. And if it seems like you're taking too much damage, you always have the exhaust smoke you can pop and just continue farming. Interesting. I think this thing can be pretty interesting. Like, as a kite farming gunboat, I think it's interesting. As an AA ship, it's a joke. But obviously, wargaming. But as a farming destroyer, it seems pretty interesting. Commonwealth Cruiser Gambia. Okay, let me go get something to drink. This Devblog is fucking gigantic. I need to save my voice with some water. Just to understand the size, it's the same hull as Abruzzi. Oh shit. That's a big ship then, no joke. Abruzzi? That's a big boat. Yeah, it is. It is, isn't it? Yeah, it totally is. What's the... What is it? Snows look this different. Are you sure? I think it's more... Oh shit, might have to buy him. The T4. Gusano? Oh yeah, this one looks like it. The nose. Yeah, that's for this one. That's for this one. Okay, that's gonna be a pretty goddamn big ship. That's gonna be a pretty goddamn big ship. Interesting. Even the booms are the same? Oh yeah, they are, you're right. Yeah, it's there for this thing. It's there for this one. Interesting. Yeah, no, it has the same, it even has the same torpedo netting as that one has. These little sticks here, they were for, you could extend them and you could hang a torpedo net that basically sat in the water around the hull to protect it against potential torpedo explosions. The effectiveness was questionable, but it was very common in especially pre-dreadnoughts and World War I ships. Well, mostly World War I ships. Ship chainmail, yeah, exactly. Interesting. Okay. Oh, it is a Giussano. Yeah, this is a Giussano here. Okay. Interesting. So it's pretty huge. Commonwealth Cruiser Gambia. A Fiji class. Okay. Like her sister ship Fiji, Gambia is armed with main battery of 4 triple 152mm turrets and 1 triple torpedo launcher. Okay. She has access to 80 shells. Oh boy. Royal Navy ships have evolved. And longer main battery range, giving her more flexibility than Fiji. As a trade-off, Gambia's torpedoes have much lower range and a long reload, but high damage and fast speed. Okay, well that's a great trade-off. What? You only use Fiji torps for YOLOs anyway, and brawls. So that's a pretty great trade-off. What the fuck? You get main battery range and HE. Okay. The ship also has improved discharge airstrike with parameters that are present on Commonwealth Tier 7 cruiser Uganda. With decent concealment and a consumable toolbox short burst smoke, repair party, and a choice between hydroacoustic search and defensive AA, Gambia has good survivable tools, but her low speed and weak armor will limit her open water fighting capability. In battle, okay, enemy pushes, yada yada, short burst. Okay, a Gambra, a clone of Fiji. So this is just a copy of the Fiji, but better. Let me see. Where's Fiji? UK. Let's see. Belfast. Belfast is Fiji is 8-second reload. This one is 8-8. So slightly worse. Slightly worse. What's the AP damage per shell? 3.1. This is 2. Okay, so the AP is definitely worse. Reload is longer, DPM is worse, but in return he has access to HE. Fiji is such a clapper though. It is. It's pretty clunky, the hull though, and the turrets. Does a lot of damage though. HE with this fire chance is nice though. I like, that's pretty nasty at the tier, considering you can smoke up and just farm things. ESW, 3 flights, 25 seconds. Goddamn, 8 km range as well. That's pretty nice. Computer tubes, tricks free. Yo, 17.5k alpha. Holy. That's much better than Fiji Torps. They do 15.8. Wait, what range? 7k. Fiji's 8. Speed 64. Fiji is 61. But the reload is worse. But honestly, these are, when you need them, you get one launch off anyway. What the fuck? Wow, what a terrible trade-off. What a terrible trade-off. You get harder hitting, faster torpedoes that still have 7 kilometers range. Wow. What a disastrous trade-off. Surely wouldn't want this one. Lamau? What the fuck? And you can still launch the individual torps. Am I missing something? Seems really fucking good. Didn't Wargaming say they didn't give Royal Navy light cruisers HE because of a toxic gameplay with smoke? I mean, original Minotaur, when we tested it, had HE. And then Wargaming said the combination of a rapid-firing HE spammer and a smoke was too toxic to play against, so we decided to remove it. And then, like, 6 months later, they introduced the Smolensk. Yeah, I don't know. Wargaming. But yeah, they used to think that that was toxic gameplay and it shouldn't be part of the game, but they backpedaled a lot of those things because they saw money. That's really what it comes down. Anything they've said was like, this is bad for the game. Then later they're like, you know what? This is bad for the game, but we really like money. So here it is anyway. $31.5, pretty slow. Surface detect 11.8. Not too bad. This thing seems very good. This seems very good. Repair, short burst. Also fighter. Does Fiji have fighter? I don't remember. Does Fiji have fighter? Fighter is pretty good when you're smoke. I don't remember. Does it? It doesn't. That's what I thought. It doesn't have fighter. Fiji doesn't have any plane. You have to trade off your smoke for that. But this thing gets it in a separate slot. This is a really big advantage because your fighter spots for you. So you can smoke pop fighter and the fighter will spot for you while you sit in the smoke and farm. On the Fiji you have to trade. You have to trade your smoke for a fighter. But on this thing, they've sneakily put it in a separate slot. That's really sneaky. They don't even mention it. They don't even mention it. But that's a huge fucking advantage. That's a huge advantage, and it's not even mentioned. And like, for example, you can't see planes. If you're sitting in a smoke in a cruiser or in a destroyer, and there's planes above you, you can't see them. So if you leave the smoke, you'll get plane spotted without knowing they were there. However, if you have a fighter active, you'll see the squad. You'll see the planes and you know, oh shit, I can't leave now, the carrier is spotting me. So it's a huge advantage in multiple ways. Both offensive and defensive, it's a huge advantage. So that's sneaky as shit. They didn't mention anything about it, but it's in a separate goddamn slot. Smoke and fighter, whereas here it's in the same slot. This is such a fucking classic wargaming move, man. This is such a classic wargaming move. Holy shit. So yeah, obviously this thing looks very good. This thing looks very strong. Oh boy. Submarine seal. Seal clubbing, huh? The small piece of 64mm armor in Prince Orange gun barbette is a bug? No. The bug is that the way they coded the Prince von Orange turrets in such a way that they have 0 splash damage resistance coefficient, which means that any HE splash damage breaks the turrets. They fucked up the coding. It's not related to a single turret, it's all of them. Interesting. Wow, Seal's model. That's incredible. It looks like a turd. Like, who even looks at these submarine models? I don't get it. Wow, Jesus. That was certainly a devblog. Holy shit. That was a long-ass fucking devblog. Holy fuck. What was it, 1.5 hours? As overall opinions, interesting ships. Blücher, for sure, is interesting. The Italian one, meme-worthy, but also interesting. This Gambia just looks like a better Fiji, honestly. And Suzuya looks really strong, but also interesting because it can probably be blown up pretty easily. So I'm not sure if it's going to be... Like, it's going to be impressive in good hands, but potato players will blow the fuck up. The biggest balancing issue, the biggest balancing nightmare in this entire devlog was this set 57 thing. 6.2 conceal on the destroyer with 7 km hydro seems completely absurd. Like, just completely absurd. It's you just prevent the enemy destroyers from playing the game for like 3 minutes at a time. It's demented. Completely demented. Stealth hydro, yeah. I think this is the first time they do stealth hydro, isn't it? I think this is the first time they do stealth hydro. It is, isn't it? I remember when they said stealth radar was a problem. But now they're literally doing stealth hydro. It's the first ship in the game with stealth hydro. Early set 42 had that as well. Yeah, they nerfed it though. That's crazy. That's crazy. And it's not even a slight stealth hydro. It's an 800-meter stealth hydro. That shit is so goddamn oppressive. So fucking unplayable. Holy shit. So, like, just complete balancing nightmare. Complete balancing nightmare. Absolute nonsense. Absolute nonsense of a design. Impressive. Right.